The reason why I've called this video How to Make Money Selling Old Clothes is realistically just because I want to dumb down, simplify this whole approach to what it is that we're doing. One underlying thing that I know a lot of people want to know is how to make money doing this. Spencer, you've got a premises, you've been doing this for years, you've obviously figured out how to make money selling old clothes, vintage clothing, second-hand fashion, whatever you want to call it. I'm calling this old clothes just for the sake of it being completely universal to everybody. So, where do we start? How you make money selling old clothes is you figure out, firstly, if you was able to basically decide how you was going to, how would you like to? Would you like to sell it? Would you like to make money selling old clothes through sportswear? Would you like to make it through casual wear? Would you like to be women's wear specific, men's wear, like direction? What I mean by that is, first things first, in order to understand where you need to make money from the clothes, is to kind of see where your intentions would be if you could decide, right now, this is how you're going to make the money from it. It does not come as easy as that, but knowing where you stand on it allows you to see where you wouldn't kind of position yourself. If you're a guy watching this and you want to focus on purely men's streetwear, then women's Y2K, for example, isn't going to be where you would want to put any focus. There's so many different categories, so many different niches, so many different styles where people put their focus on. Lots of people will focus on brands. For example, you might want to focus purely on Nike, for example. But if we took Nike for the example, if you wanted to be a purely Nike reseller, how would you go about making profit off of just selling that? Realistically, you would be a lot more selective with your hand-picking process. You would probably have to spend a lot more time looking for just one individual brand. Essentially, you'd be closing the door on lots of other brands. For example, the New Balance, the Adidas, the Fila, all those other brands, just to home in on one. And with that, you would probably sacrifice more time in order to generate that money that you can off of Nike. Don't get me wrong, that's probably like a smart idea for some people. Just focus on one brand, focus on that alone. And not only by focusing on one brand would you, I guess, have a tailored audience, but you would also develop a lot more understanding of just one brand. When I started out, my focus and niche was vintage sportswear, branded sweatshirts and things of like the 1980s. And what happened after that is then I discovered and I jumped into, randomly, suede jackets, aviator bombers. So I went kind of from a vintage sportswear to completely different. So when I began, the models that I used were more derivative of that of sportswear, vintage sportswear. But then I quickly adapted and was like, I'm going to do all these other things. Even so, to the point I was experimenting with like women's mohair cardigans back in 2012. So at the beginning when I started it, my goal was finding stock as sort of affordable as possible and, just trialing it. What I did as well was I invested in the time into the look and the image. So I invested heavily into the modeling aspect of it, and it paid off for me. It paid off in the sense where people bought into it because it looked cool. It looked better than what was on the market. So when I kind of reverse back to what my point is on this video about how to make money from old clothes, you firstly obviously want to focus on what your intentions are with what you would like to sell in an ideal world, if you could. Then, I guess, reverse engineer back the whole process. So how are you going to go about being a Nike reseller? Are you going to go and do the whole charity shop run and just keep your eyes on just one brand? Are you going to go and start conversations with different suppliers? Are you going to search Nike on auctions in eBay and basically have it on an auto refresh on your computer every like 10 minutes, which basically means you can see new people posting Nike instantly. Are you going to find somebody who has lots of Nike on different eBay Vinted accounts and offer to buy all their stuff for a better price and resell it for a bit more? You know, when we think about how you make money from these clothes, I think the main thing to focus on first is how is your approach going to help you make clothes? And how is your approach going to help you make money from those clothes? Because anybody can do this, but not everybody can do it cohesively, effectively, and efficiently. And those three elements are big pillars of what you should really focus on when it comes around to making money from this. First rule of selling vintage and secondhand old clothes is probably don't call them old clothes, because then you sound like the people who have a disregarded stigma to it. But like I said before, I really think that with everything that's going on with secondhand, in the next 5 to 7 years, the way that as we slowly shift into younger people that are really understanding sustainability and that kind of influence, pushing the whole narrative of secondhand and sustainable fashion, it is an industry that will just boom. So right now it's quite over congested because there's a lot more people coming into it, and the demand probably isn't as high as it is with respect to how many people there are within it, but there's so many like opportunities that are still there. So if you want to make money selling old clothes, there's so many elements you have to take into consideration. But I would say, before anything, whether you're somebody who's already selling now, maybe this is the right point, if you've got to this point in the video, take a moment, pause this, or have a reflection on what it is you're doing. Are you making money selling what you're doing? Are you happy with what you're generating from what you're doing? This might be something that you just want as a little side project to make you, an extra £200 a month. It's all about what the intentions are. So I hope that that's made some sort of sense into how to make money selling old clothes. There's so much information that I can break down into different individual points. And I think that each video, I'm going to just introduce little bite-sized bits of info, insight, and understanding into it. But over the videos, with one every day, one new video every day, we'll just keep covering loads of different things. Feel free to drop a comment if there's anything that you want me to cover, because what I can do is I can put that into my little jar of ideas, and each day when I pick a new one out, and that's what I'll do, I can cover it. So yeah, feel free to. Appreciate everybody that's watching the videos as well. Really enjoying the process and really looking forward to showing you and enjoying that side of the process. More things that are coming. Sorry, I don't know what was going on with my speech there, but yes, about to get ready for a live in 20 minutes. So I'll love you and leave you guys. Have a good evening or morning or whatever you're doing when you watch this. And yeah, I'll catch you in a bit.